that this game mode is a lot like 2 other game modes. And that's just not true, and I will go over that today. Before we start, I'm actually going to say the 3 different game modes of the game. Now, of course, there's also many others, but the main ones we're talking about today, I will say right now. Well, it will not let me, but so your 3 game modes in War Thunder, you will have arcade, realistic, and simulator. Now, arcade was the one that most players were saying that realistic and simulator were exactly alike, and I was saying no, they're not. And so, a quick little detail about the different game modes. Arcade battles, you get to see where you can hit your opponent that could kill them. And you see everybody tank goes faster, or your tank or aircraft goes faster than it would normally be in a realistic or a simulator. Alright, and so in realistic, it's different. Your tank goes slower than it would be in an arcade. You don't know where to hit your targets. And you don't see your enemy's gamer tags. And then simulator, you don't see your teammates' gamer tags. You're locked in first place. Or not first place, but in first person. You don't know where to hit your enemies. And you just have to use your brain in the simulator. And so what we'll do is we will actually go over these also in the match. And so I will ask my friend Oak Raiders to please start up a queue. And so we can go ahead and get this started.
Yeah, sure. I still like arcade, by the way. It was actually really good until I found out realistic was way better in researches and everything.
Now, a little bit about the game modes before, while we're in the queue. Now, of course, arcade is a really good game mode for beginners. But of course, me being a veteran player, whenever I went into rank 1 on a new account, I actually started off in realistic because I knew what I was doing already. Well, now of course, being up at the BR that me and my friends are currently at, we are not going to get into an arcade match as quickly as we would a simulator or a realistic. And that's because the higher up in the BR you're at is the less likely you are to be put into an arcade. And so now we're here after we had just had to restart the queue.
Looks like we've got a decent map. Alright, well.
Alright, so of course the map jungle. Now, of course, in an arcade match, you don't have to do any sort of, you don't have to worry about anything because you see your enemy's gamer tags. Wrong. Because your enemies could see you before you see them.
Spawn point 1 or 2.
And so, me and my team, we will spawn at the spawn point closest to C, which is spawn point 1. Now, I'll spawn in my glorious T-44-100. Glorious little tank. Oh god, my game is lagging. Now, of course, there's some things that you must be aware of when you're playing an arcade. You see that little crosshair looking thing in front of my tank? That is your aiming crosshair. Now you see, I see my enemy's gamer tag.
Move, I have to go to the bathroom.
And I just killed an enemy easily. Why? Because since this is arcade, I don't have to worry about my enemies. And this is actually why this is a good game mode for beginners. And mind you, I was lagging as well. So and then of course it's saying bad network connection when I know I have good network connection. Oh, yep, exactly that point as well. You can also spawn in and so levered right front. And so preferably this is like a game mode where, like I said, you could use planes. You could use planes in a tank match. You could do all sorts of different things.
There's a Tiger 2H from behind.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything. My breach was destroyed. And so, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my IS-2. Now, of course, this is actually one of the very first tanks I researched. Matter of fact, this was the first rank 4 I researched, was the IS-2. Now, this isn't just an ordinary IS-2, this is the 1944 variant. But you see how fast I'm going in this IS-2? I will not be going this fast when we go into a realistic. I'll be going way slower. Looks like there's like a Ferdinand.
To our left, yep.
Alright, so another thing is when an enemy is spotted on here, you can see their gamer tag even through.
To our right.
As you can see, I just killed the Ferdinand in one shot. And that's because I could see him through a mountain. Well, not even a mountain, I could see him through a hill.
In arcade, you also don't have to research planes because it'll do it.
Yeah. Yep, that too.
Taking a lot of hits.
Tank behind. Alright, I just destroyed a Tiger. Oh god, no, 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 no. You see?
I'm still in the middle of a
And now, of course, in in standard matches as well of arcade, especially when you're going into high rank, and my friends in the party have know this as well, but there's also more tryhardic players in an arcade battle than there are in realistic and simulator. Like, once you get up to high VR, anytime you go into a arcade, you have to worry about your enemies being tryhard, and then you also have to worry about your teammates being tryhard. Now, as you can see, my friend O Graders over here is bringing in his T-44-100.
Because there was a guy right there camping and he saw me on the map. Where did he hit? Of course he was already aiming. Alright, he's pushing up.
Alright.
What? Where? I shot this dude head on in the turret and they said I shot him in the side. Really? So yeah, T-44.
Now, as you can see, there's an example of planes in a tank battle.
Off of that T-44-100, you guys can hear me. It's a tryhard.
Ah, Panther G up on the hill. I don't think he could kill two.
To your left, he's trying to push.
I can't. He's retreating like a little wuss. Moving up. And Panther destroyed.
I can't wait to hop into realistic.
Uh-oh. I've got an M48 over here, and I got killed. Where? Ah, BMP, right side. Looks like he's shooting now an ATGM.
Also, another difference between arcade and
Yeah.
you could have any country.
Yes, like, and that's another thing about the difference between arcade and realistic, is that it's certain countries versus certain countries. It's not like if it's a realistic, it's certain countries versus certain countries. In an arcade, it's all against all. Automatically, and the allies will have a star, and the Axis will have a cross, as you saw there. Now, see, now I didn't get much here. Why? Because this is a ×1 multiplier. That's ×1, which means I don't get as much as I would in realistic. Because the way it works is arcade is ×1, realistic is ×2, simulator is ×3. Now, we will go into a realistic match, and then you'll get to see the difference, the one major difference between arcade matches and realistic matches.
Hopefully we'd get a match faster. Deadpool left it, but I'm not sure. Also not trying to sound messed up. I'm just saying it's probably faster that we go mesh like this.
5 seconds and we got into a realistic. Now, of course, this is on Berlin, and I believe there are some times in my channel that you have seen me play on the Berlin map, maybe doing a video where I'm showcasing a tank or something like that, and I usually don't do too good on this map. Who knows? Maybe that'll change today. Well, I hope.
Or do you want to push towards C or A?
I'd say A. It's more of an urban area. Alright, so now,
We're on the
right, one thing right off the bat before you start, you see that there is a number and it says SP right next to the VR of your tank. That is how much of spawn points you have. That's like how much it costs. And since me and my friend Oak here are actually, since we're actual pros at realistic, we know about the SP, we know a lot of stuff about realistics and simulators because we're both veteran players.
Realistic is just in general more, realistic.
Yeah. And so as you can see, my tank's not as fast as it was in arcade. My tank is actually going at its realistic speed. Not like in arcade where their realistic speed doesn't matter. And it's like you can go as fast as you want in arcade. Yeah, no, it's not how that works. Now, another thing you see is that there is a circle. That same circle applies in an arcade when you're looking straight up. This is to ensure that you do not know where to hit your enemy. It does not show green, yellow, or red. It only shows that circle. Another thing, as you can see,
They already shot on my barrel, dude.
I just saw the T-114.
Dude, to the right.
Took out the Pershing.
Dude, to your right, to your right. There's an enemy tank pushing out.
Oh, I see him.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, come on! I'm recording a YouTube video.
What YouTube video?
I have a channel. But, and so as you saw, that guy absolutely did not know I was there. And then I just one-shot him.
Repair. Very requested. Too late. That T-114 is somewhere on the map. I know you can see it.
I see him.
Buildings.
T-114 and oh, that okay, I think those two T-114s are actually I think they're actually squatted because that was proper coordination.
T-114s have auto loaders and they recoil with rifles and they carry more
Yeah.
like this.
By the way, guys, my friend Oak Raider, he actually has a YouTube channel, and if he would like to say his YouTube channel right now, he can.
It's legit just my name, but without the underscores.
Yeah, so it's just Oak Raiders 34 just without the underscore. And so next time you guys are on YouTube, maybe that's soon.
No way!
Where was he?
That dude, he's right in front of me. He hit my track. No way. You hit my track and still pen throughout the entire game. Dude, that's honestly making me mad.
Took him out. He's down.
Yeah, there's another one. I see them as charged. Still to operate.
Alright, going this way.
They carry stabilizers, autoloaders, and modern BFS rounds when there's no actual defense capable of taking them out.
Yeah, and of course, as he is saying, the T-14 is actually a premium vehicle in the game. There might be some point I might get that tank myself and then go over the vehicle. Just to give you guys kind of a general perspective on how these things work. But in the most basic form, that thing sees you, you're dead. Yeah, it's a premium. I believe it's a rank 5 premium.
No, it requires legit no skill to operate, and well, if there was actual defenses against it, which the basic defenses are like tank skirts and fencing, like on the IS-2 1944, but only from this only provides minor protection. Other than that,
T-34 over, I think, on my right. Yep, right side. US T-34. And there was actual, if I remember correctly, there was one time that I was using, I think it was the T-44-100. It was on the Cuban map. And there was this T-29. He was injured. His gun was broken. I see him one time. He starts lighting me up with MGs trying to kill me. I swing around to his freaking side and one-shot him. Now, of course, there are actually... Now, this tank I brought out, this is also the PT-76, which is... And that round you see there, that is basically what Oak Raiders was talking about earlier with the T-114. That it shoots Heat FS, and that is Heat FS. This thing is a light tank, but it does not have as good of a gun as the T-114. The T-114, I think, has a 105mm cannon, if I'm correct. Like a 105mm short barrel. And it's a smooth bore, so
it's gonna tend to one shot.
Yeah. And so oh yeah, the T-34 is like I'd say the T-34 is weak because he actually used MGs against a lightly armored vehicle, which, mind you, by the way, guys, the one most try-hardy thing people do in this game is if they see a lightly armored vehicle and something that they know can kill it with MGs, they will kill it with MGs.
The next match is only going to allow us to use the 1944 IS-2s.
Yeah, so basically, general thoughts, the game, like this game mode is a lot harder than an arcade. A lot harder. But simulator is going to be the hardest. And I will show you exactly why I say you're going to have to use your brain. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to head back to the hangar, and then we're going to go into a simulator. And this will be what shows the difference between arcade, simulator, and realistic.
Whenever you see a T114, you know you're not gonna have a good match.
Yeah. T114s are actually extremely, like, if you're not careful, these suckers will catch you off guard. And that's how bad it is. And as you saw, the one I killed with the IS-2 was actually bushed. And there is a saying that I have for people who use bushes. And it's in 5 letters. TPTWP. Try heartache, pay to win pussy. And why do I say that? Because it's because of the fact that when you use bushes, you're basically saying you're too much of a wuss to go into the battlefield yourself.
Hey, I use bushes, but I don't camp in the back.
Yeah, you don't camp. But thing is, like, and that's what people usually use the bushes for, is just to camp. And bushes, they just make it absolutely harder for just to see you. Now, this is going to be a simulator. Now, as I said at the almost at the start of the video, the game has the 3 game modes: arcade, realistic, and simulator. We've already went over arcade and realistic, and even went into battles with them. But now we are in a simulator, and we're going to head towards C. So, already what you see off the bat is I am in first person view, and look at that glorious Dushka sitting right next to me. Okay, so now we're going to move forward. Now, another thing is, if I look around, my fellow ally right there with eyes on his turret has bushes on the front. That is actually oak raiders. But it shows that he doesn't have a gamer tag above him. And yes, in this game mode, yes, friendly fire is a thing. Which is why when you start off in a simulator match, you want to look around. You want to look around and look at your teammates. And you want to recognize what the tanks are that your teammates are using. And so if you encounter your teammate later on, you don't actually mistaken them as an enemy. Now this game mode, we are going against Italy. Italy is known to have American tanks in it, same as the Imperial Japanese. And I believe the Imperial Japanese in this BR, I think, have Type 61s, which shoot Heat FS, or also known as High Explosive Anti-Tank Fin Stabilized. Oh wait, where am I going? I need to head towards C.
The Dushkas on top of your tank are good at dealing with lightly armored anti-tank.
Yeah. The only thing I see using a machine gun for is just dealing with like lightly armored anti-tank guns. Other than that, just use your main shells against light tanks. Of course, it might sound stupid to waste a round on a light tank, but at least you're not going to make that light tank's player rage, all because of the fact that you just shot him with MGs.
You want to push to my side because they just capped the C.
Alright. Oh, Bad network again.
I shot. I swear I shot.
Oh god, I can't even pin that sucker. Whoa, where'd he hit me from? Interesting. Shot me straight through the... What is it, the cable car or something like that? I don't know, but now we're gonna bring out the T-44.
I can't do the game in error.
Yup. Look, well, it's not Type 61, but it's Type 60. Ow. Where, are you the SU-100?
No, I couldn't even spawn in.
Oh, yeah, well.
It gave me an error.
Well, so now we're actually going to... Now, what I usually do is whenever I get killed by an enemy, I usually try to find that same enemy and kill him. Because that gives you a achievement, and it's called the Eye for Eye. Now, of course, the Eye for an Eye means that you do something to me, I do something to you. Just like if you cut my arm off, I cut your arm off. That's basically how that happens. And yes, I just put that in the most violent way possible, but... And so, now we are going to look... Ah, there he is. Got him. Eye for an eye, baby. Haha. And then a Tiger-E right behind. And then that's it for my tanks. So, first person view, you can friendly fire, you could do all sorts of different things. And it's specific countries versus specific countries, but it's way different. And then the queue, mind you, the queue is a lot different. Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go to the Events and Tournaments tab, and then I will show you the simulator queue. Because simulator is not like the others. See, if I go here, it says what tank or what countries are on Team A and what countries are on Team B. As you can see, the United States, the USSR, the British, the Chinese, the French, and the Sweden, or as we call them, the Swedes, are all on Team A.
Hey. Did I have my pen in here?
I don't know.
My vape?
I don't know.
Where was your daddy at in here?
I don't know. But Team B has Germany and
So you don't know where your dad was when he came in your room?
Oh, well, he did come over here, pick up the kittens.
Yeah. Dad lost my shit now. Why is your blanket on the floor that Granny just washed?
What do you mean?
You know they're coming to put cable in, right?
Well, they're not going through all the rooms. They're only putting cable boxes in the rooms that are getting them, and it's evidently only the adults that are getting them. Yeah, so then Team B, like I said, has has Germany, the Imperial Japanese, and the Italians. Now,
and I got sniped from behind because
and so,
there's a Tiger-E to my left.
And so that's it, guys. That is That is the 3 different battle types.
The most infuriating is simulator.
Yeah, the most
Oh, no.
infuriating is simulator.
More like arcade. Not gonna lie. Arcade
But
more.
before the video ends, I actually might throw in the sub game modes. Now, if we take a look right here,
I'm gonna go do my own.
you have
I want to test out something.
you have air arcade, ground arcade, naval arcade. Okay. Air arcade, you don't get to use tanks. It is not. Air arcade is not the opposite of tank arcade. Tank arcade, you can use aircrafts in the middle of the match, right? Air arcade is not that. You just use your aircrafts. Because air arcade was actually in the game before ground arcade. And so they thought, well, only planes. Because we're not even going to add tank shit. And then look what Gaijin did. They added tanks. And so then you get air realistic as well. Air realistic, same thing. You don't get to use your tanks in the middle of an air match. No. And then we just went through a ground realistic. Then you have naval, which you can use ships and aircrafts, but no tanks. And so basically, this is basically, naval is basically ground but on water. That's basically all it is. And then simulator battles, which we just played one of those. And then we have these: Assault Air Arcade and Assault Ground Arcade. Now, this is basically the same rules of arcade battles, but you have waves of AIs coming in to go after you. Then you have World War, which if we click R2 right here, since I am in a clan, right now War Thunder has 4. One in the Eastern Front, 1 in the Pacific, and then 2 in the Western Front. And so that's that. And then you get events and tournaments, and then custom battles. And then you get Squadron Arcade and Squadron Realistic. And for the Squadron events,
Picked it up in the hall.
and the Squadron events, it's set on only 1 BR. And you could use tanks that are below it. You could even, and you could use tanks at that BR. So basically, this BR and this BR and below, you can use, but you cannot use anything higher. And then custom battles, basically you make your own rules and how it goes. So that's all the game modes of War Thunder and their differences. So if you guys liked the video, obviously please just put a like down there, and please subscribe if you are new. And I hope you found this educational. And so, as I usually say,